Hello everyone, we're going to be working on building an iPhone case today. So first thing we're going to do is you want to make sure that you have the lesson up here, which is lesson number 5, and you want to download the iPhone file right here. So click on this little icon here and click on the iPhone X. It'll take you to a Google Drive and then just click download. Once you've got that, that will download your file or your model. Mine goes to my desktop, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Once I have that up and running, sorry, I'll actually move this over here. I am going to click on Show Data Panel. Now, I have created a file folder here, and this is just a test one that I was working on. So I'm just going to click this little back arrow here and make sure I have a File 360 Learn project folder. I'm going to double click on that. Inside that, I have all my models sitting in here. Double click that. And you can see here's all my models in file folders. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click a new folder. I'm just going to call this test phone. Call it whatever you like. I'm just going to hit enter. So a test phone is right here. I'm going to double click it, and inside here is where I'm going to pull my model into. So there's the blue button called upload. I'm going to click that once. I'm going to click on select files, and I'm on my desktop right now, and I'm just going to scroll down, and there's my iPhone X right there. So I'm going to double click that, and I'm just going to click upload because it's inside my file folder there, and it'll just take a second to upload that. It should pop up right here, the loading bar. Once it has uploaded, we need to do a couple more things. So I'm just going to click close. I need to save my work here. So I'm going to click on the little disk icon, which is right on the top right here. And I'm going to call this phone case 1. Let's hit enter. Once phone case 1 has been created and saved, I can then pull my model in here. You cannot pull the model in unless you save your work. So I'm going to click on my model, I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to click insert into current design. So that will place this phone model into my workspace right here. There we go. Okay, I'm going to click X up in the corner here. Now this is not oriented right, it is upside down and actually backwards. If I click on front, that is obviously not the front of the iPhone, that's the back. So I am going to just click on my home thing there, and I'm going to grab this little circle here. I'm going to rotate my iPhone all the way around 180 degrees so the camera is sitting at the top. Then I'm going to grab this little icon right here, and I'm going to rotate my iPhone to the front 180 degrees. So down at the bottom, I'm going to click OK. Now if I click on front, it's the front of the iPhone, and I can rotate it around to the back, and you can see everything's looking good. Okay, next up, we're going to hover over this little cube up here, and you're going to click on this little arrow on the bottom. We're going to go to the bottom of the iPhone. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. Now we're going to create a sketch plane here. So up on here, create sketch, that little plus sign up on the top, click that once, and then just hover over any of the black here, which will place a work plane down on your XY axis. So click that once. And you can see if I kind of rotate it, this puts an axis right through the middle of my phone, which is perfect. That's what we're going to be using to build our bumper. So go over to this spot here. Now there's a couple different ways you can do this. The easiest way is to hover over this top little piece. You can see it kind of goes black there. It kind of goes a darker black. Click it once. Hold down Shift on your keyboard. Hold down Shift. Click this next rounded piece right here. You can see that goes. They both turn blue, and then we're going to do this bottom piece right here. It kind of goes black. Hold down Shift, click it, and it will also turn blue. Oops, I don't think I got it. There we go, I got it. So they should be highlighted blue all the way around your phone, the side of your phone like this. You can see it's hover. I'm just going to back up a tiny bit, and you can see that is highlighted blue. Now what we're going to do, you could use a spline tool to build around this, but it's quite tricky. So we're actually going to just project the silhouette, the edges onto the sketch plane. So just click project right there, and it says 3 selected, which we selected right there, and click OK. Now this has now created these three these three lines around the edge of your phone. Actually, if I turn the phone off, you can see there they are perfectly, and we're going to be using those. Now, this is, for some reason, this will not allow you to select all three of these together. We have to select them individually. So click on this one on the top first, and then hit O on your keyboard. O is offset. So we're going to offset this by -2 millimeters. So -2. You can see it offsets it out there. So -2 millimeters. Hit enter. And we're going to do the same for these two. So click on this one, hold down Shift on your keyboard and click this one. And then again, tap O for offset. That's O for offset. And we're going to do -2 millimeters again. So -2 millimeters. And then I'm just going to hit enter on my keyboard or OK. And you can see this creates our offset. Now we guys can do one more thing to complete this. Click on the line tool up here on the top. Hover over this white circle and pull down until you connect to the purple circle. There we go. Or you go down to the bottom, we're going to do exactly the same thing. So white circle to purple circle. And you can see this now fills in our sketch. It goes that like light orange color, which is just what we want. So click on Finish Sketch, and you can kind of rotate out if you like and see what we're going to do next. Now what we want to do is we want to sweep this around the edge of the phone. This is a pretty cool tool. So what you want to do is click on Create. There's the Sweep tool right there. So click Sweep, and it asks you to select a profile. So we're going to click on that as our profile. So it says one selected. And then the pathway. So it's going to select the path. So click on Select. And we're going to select the black line around the phone. So click once and keep going around the phone and clicking these black lines. So there we go. Just going to rotate the phone around and we keep clicking on these black lines, and it will slowly build the bumper around the edge of the phone. And I'm just kind of slowly moving my way around the phone until I get, and keep clicking on these black lines, and finally click on that black line until we get to the end of the phone. Now that will take a second. And then it's a new body. You can see right here, and we're just going to click OK. And give it a second, and it will, yeah, there we go. We basically created our bumper for our phone, which is pretty cool. Now inside here, you can see here is our, it's a body, but we're going to call it bumper, just so we don't get confused. There we go. So I double clicked, I'll do that one more time. I double clicked here essentially, and then just typed in bumper. So now we know what it is. So I can turn the bumper off, I can turn the bumper on, I can turn the phone off, I can turn the phone on. Now what we need to do is we need to create holes for the buttons. So I'm just going to click right, and I'm going to go over here and zoom in a little bit. Now this bumper is in the way. We can't even see the buttons. So I'm going to click the little eyeball icon, and that's going to erase the bumper. Now I'm actually going to flip this phone around, and I want to create for these ones. So I'm going to click on left, and it's going to go this way. These are the buttons I want to work on. So essentially what I'm going to do is I have the bumper now removed. You can see I've removed it. I'm going to create cutouts for these. So to do that, I'm going to click on Create Sketch. I'm going to hover over this gray part on the phone. I can hover over the bottom gray or the top gray. Don't hover over the buttons, hover over the gray. I'm going to click once. You see it kind of rotates the phone around. I'm going to move that down here. Let's use this little button to rotate the phone back the way we want it. Now you can see what that did is it created a sketch plane right through the phone here. We're going to be using that. So click on left, and we're going to be creating some cutouts here. So let's zoom right in on this one. Let's click Create. Go down to Slot tool. Click on Center to Center Slot. And hover over where that little line is there and pull down to hit the center here, and just click. Hover over that little line, pull down, hit the center, and I don't know if I've got this perfectly right, but there we go. Now you just pull out, you can see it creates a slot. We're going to make it 4 millimeters out, so 4 mils. So hit enter, and I'm going to do the same thing for this one. So I'm going to come over here, create slot, center to center slot, hover over here, go down, click, and I will move this out of the way. Hover over here, pull down. I don't know if I got that perfect. There we go. Pull out. And we're going to go 4 mils again. Hit enter. And finally, this one here. Create slot, center to center. So you should be used to this tool by now. There we go. Out here, pull down, And there we go, pull out. So 4 mils on this one too, enter. Now what we've got here is we've got some drawings essentially. So to show you what these look like, let's remove the iPhone by clicking the eyeball. And you can see here's our drawings. You don't need to worry about this big one on the top. You just want to worry about these ones. So click here once, hold down Shift on your keyboard, click here, keep holding down Shift, click here, click here, click here, click here. So they're all highlighted. Now essentially we're going to use these to cut out the bumper. So remember the bumper here? Just click on it. There's our eyeball. And we're still in sketch mode. This is not going to work. We're going to need to click Finish Sketch. Now we're going to extrude these and push these through the bumper. So we're going to cut it. So there's our extrude. E. You can tap E. And we're just going to, there's a little arrow here. I want you to pull this way. And you can see it automatically cuts the bumpers. You pull out to get a better angle. You can see it's actually cutting through the bumpers here. And it's set to cut right here. I mean, you can choose different ones, but we want ours on cut. Click OK. And it cut those out. Now, if I put the iPhone back on, you can see it's actually got the bumpers. Now, if you're feeling really adventurous, you can actually click on these little corners. I'm going to hold down Shift and click on all of these little corners here. And you could modify and create a chamfer. So if you click that and push in, so push in a little bit, you can actually create a chamfer on that and click OK. So there we go. And that was the chamfer tool right here. That's what I used. You can do that to these other pieces if you want to add a little bit of, want to be a little more fancy. Okay, I'm going to click on bottom. I'm going to go to the bottom of the phone, and I'm going to do essentially the same thing here because this is where the charging battery, the charging port is. So I'm going to remove the bumper again because I don't want the bumper. And this one actually doesn't have a charging battery in it, but I'm going to make one. So make a cut for it. So let's click Create Sketch. Same thing. Just hover over the black part here and just click. Well, actually, that's kind of the center of it, isn't it? I'm wondering if we can get closer. Hover over the gray here. Just click once. And that's created a sketch plane right here, which is what we want. Now I want this to be equal on each side. So I'm going to click line, and you can see here's my sketch palette right here. I'm going to click the little plus icon, and I'm going to go down to construction because I'm going to create some construction lines. So I'm going to click once, hover over the center, click once, and pull out. I'm going to go out about 6 millimeters. 6 millimeters that way. I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to go this way, pull out. That's going to be 6 millimeters. Hit enter. Now I've got these two construction lines here. So from here, I'm going to deselect this construction line and I'm going to create a slot. So I'm going to click Create, I'm going to go down to the slot tool, center to center slot. Click once on that construction line tip, click once on that one, and I think we were sticking with 4 millimeters for this slot here. So I'm going to hit enter. There we go. And I'm going to finish that sketch. All right, so to get this bottom part, I'm going to do the same thing I did for the other one. I'm going to unselect the iPhone. I'm going to click on the top. I'm going to hold down Shift. I'm going to click on the bottom. And all I'm going to do is select the bumper, and I am going to extrude and pull this bumper out. There you go. And just click OK, make sure we're on cut. And now I've cut a little slot for the bottom for the iPhone in there for the charger. Now you can do the same thing for this side. I'm not going to do that right now, because you can rewind the video and rewatch how we did those other ones. Okay, this looks pretty good. I mean, you can actually 3D print this, but we want to create a back for it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to click back. I'm just going to rotate this way, and I'm going to remove the iPhone for now because I don't want that. And I'm going to need to create a solid piece on the back here. So to do that, I'm going to select, zoom in a little bit, select this little top edge right here. And then I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. I'm going to select this little bottom edge here. This is zoom in on that so you can see what I'm actually selecting. This little bottom edge here. I'm going to hold down Shift. I'm going to select it. So now I have the top and the bottom selected. You can see the blue line and the blue line. And I'm going to go to Construct, and I am going to put a plane through 2 edges. So let's see if that creates it. Perfect. So it's created a plane there essentially. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click OK. And now on this plane, we're going to be building our back for our phone. So I'm going to click on the Create Sketch tool. I'm going to make sure I'm hovering over this plane, the brand new one that we just created. I'm going to click once. You can see now we're on this plane. And I am going to highlight all the sides of my phone. So I'm going to click on, see the little black edges. So I'm holding down Shift, click that one. And it's clicking the mouse down, the mouse scroll wheel down here to pan. And then I'm just going to click this edge. I'm holding down Shift now. I'm just selecting all of these different edges, top edges of the phone. And you're going to have to maneuver around a little bit to get them all. And then we got one more here I need to select. Hopefully get myself in a better position there. There we go. I selected all the edges. Now from all these edges, we're going to use that same tool we had before. We're going to create and we're going to project. So you can see here's the project tool right here. So click project, and it's 9 selected. Those are all the ones we selected, and we click OK. You can see it actually projects a face onto it. So this is great. So we click Finish Sketch. We can actually click on this, and we can extrude it. So if I click on Extrude, I can push down, and I'm only going to extrude it -2 millimeters. And I'm not going to cut. I think I'm going to join it. So I'm going to join it to the other piece of the phone. So join. And then I'm just going to click OK. So now you can see the phone now has a solid backing on it.